Good morning, everyone. Wonderful Wednesday. Glad to have everyone here. Hey, it's a great day to be alive. Got a great show on deck for you guys today. Uh, some really accomplished coaches on. Um, looking forward to getting to know and allowing you guys to get to know and share with these great coaches and their body of work and what they continue to do. So we'll do this real quick. We're back. First guy I'm going to bring on is a guy who took over the helm at a very prestigious school in the Monroe, Louisiana area. He took over and didn't look back. I think this is going to be his third year as a head coach of Neville High School Tigers football. Again, he's done a wonderful job. Please welcome Coach Jeff Tannehill. Next,
thanks for having me on this morning. It's going great. Just started spring today.
Okay, cool. Give me 1 minute, Coach. Next guy bringing on, he's been newly minted as a Terra Trojans in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, high school head coach. Please welcome head coach Reginald Ware. What's up, Coach?
Hey, how you doing? How everything going with you guys?
Awesome sauce. Welcome to Prep News. And lastly, but definitely not least, he is well known around the country as being that quarterback. He made plays. Child at high school quarterback, goes on to LSU to do some really great things, and now as a high school head football coach, he's had stints at Southern Lab, I believe Baker, if I'm not mistaken, and now he's the Woodlawn Panthers head coach and doing a great job of rebuilding, rebranding the Woodlawn Panthers brand of football, also in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Please welcome head coach Marcus Randall.
Great morning, guys. Glad for you to have me on here this morning.
No doubt, Coach. No doubt, man. How's everyone day going? Everyone into spring football. We're gonna go top, left, bottom, left, right. Ask everyone to give some bio of themselves. Tell the audience a little bit about themselves. Coach Tannehill.
I'm Jeff Tannehill, head coach at Neville High School. This will be my third year. I've been coaching for 26 years. I was the head coach at LaSalle High School in the early 2000s. Moved up here to Monroe, moved back to Monroe. Coached here at Neville High School for 7 years, left, went to St. Frederick High School. The state runner up there in 2013. Was there for 5 years, came back to Neville for 2. And then Coach McCarty took over the principal's job, and I became the head coach right after that.
No doubt. Coach Randall, I think I might have told your entire story a little bit.
Yeah, I think she kind of did, but yeah, born and raised here in Baton Rouge, playing for, collegiately at LSU, and then coming back, starting my coaching career here in Baton Rouge. Been a few different places. worked at, started out working at TAR as an assistant coach. Then I ended up coming here to Woodlawn as an assistant before going to being a coordinator up underneath my brother at Scotlandville, and then taking my first head coaching job at Southern Lab, and finding myself back here at Woodlawn as the head coach. So it's been about 12 years in the game now, coach.
Yeah. Coach Reginald Ware.
Yeah, mine's a little more interesting. Hate to trump their careers. No, anyway. No, I a little bit different route. Born and raised in Lake Providence, Louisiana, from a small town, raised on a farm. When I graduated, went to the military, did 10 years, went to Southern University, played a little wide receiver there under Marcus' brother. Eric Randall was a quarterback. Basically, I've been working in the parish for 20 years as a middle school head coach, where I won numerous championships in multiple sports. Because in middle school, you coach all the sports. I coached football, basketball, track, softball, basketball, everything. But finally, after 20 years of service, got a head coaching gig, my first gig at Terra High School. A lot of the kids come from my school anyway, so I know most of them. But like you say, it's hard to build a program that's been down so long. So, but we're gonna change it eventually.
Hey, the great part about it is that you get to just linger in the challenge of being challenged, to challenge kids to be better. So I think that's why I don't want to speculate. Let's just do this, because I hate speculating. And then if I'm wrong, when coaches see me, they be like, "Man, what is this you said on me? That wasn't right." So, hey, what's your why, Coach Randall? Why high school football, and why Woodlawn Panthers, to be specific?
Well, why high school football? I think just kind of dates back to maybe around my junior year in college, when I started, kind of looking at what profession I wanted to go in. When I initially went to LSU, I went in as an engineer. That was my major, and working through engineering and doing some things, and taking those courses, I kind of looked at where I was as far as just as a student athlete. And just started just thinking about some of the things, like I said, around my red shirt junior year, just some of the things that I was learning and some of the things I was picking up on and off the field. And I just kind of looked back at where I was in high school, and I was like, well, man, if I knew half the things that I'm learning now in college, how further ahead I would have been coming into college, and I was seeing some of these guys coming from some of these different programs that, that may have had head coaches or, people in their families that kind of knew, some of those things that, I was seeing them coming in as freshmen. I'm like, man, they obviously must have came from a program that was, that had instilled in them some of these college values already. So they was coming in more college ready. And that was one of the things that I looked at and said, man, I definitely want to be able to go back to Baton Rouge, where I grew up. I'm a East Baton Rouge product, East Baton Rouge Parish product. I went to Glen Oaks, and I wanted to basically come back and give back to the kids that's in my area and be able to
No doubt.
give them some of those tools and be able to help them be a better bridge to going into college.
Right. Coach Tannehill, what's your why?
Honestly, I graduated from Neville High School in 1989, played college and football and baseball at Southern Arkansas. I've been wanting to be a coach since I was old enough to, have my dad coach me. Then I had Coach Charlie Brown, the legendary coach here at Neville High School.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He won multiple state championships. Just the love for the game. And again, like Coach Ware talked about, I've coached everything there is to coach in high school, except maybe soccer and volleyball. I love coaching kids, and I love being around them all the time. And the one thing I'll say is, about Neville High School. This is a dream job for me. To stand in the same shoes that Coach Brown and Coach McCarty and Coach Rupel all stood in, it's just an honor to be in this position. And I'm gonna do everything in my power to keep the tradition going. That's my why.
Right. We're gonna have a private conversation, Coach, off air. No, for real. I got a story or two to tell you.
Well, you went to Washington, right?
Yes, go Big Red. You know what it is, baby. You did a little homework on me then, huh? You did a little homework on me.
Yeah, before I come on the show, I'm gonna know a little bit about what I'm getting into.
I know who you talking to too. I'm gonna have to call him and have a talk with him too as well.
Yes.
Where? What's your why? What's your why?
My why is just that I start to understand that a lot of kids are not motivated academically. When I got into the profession, and I noticed that most of the troubled youth that attend these school districts have trouble motivating themselves academically or maintaining good behavior. And when I started coaching, I realized that there was a part of the job. And as a young coach, I don't think I did that well, but until I installed programs on the middle school level, I installed some study hall periods, some guidance periods, and stuff like that after school, and that's how the program took off. Because when we first started here, we were the doormat for all the schools in the parish. I mean, they hadn't won a game in 10 years. Everybody knew when you play us, you was gonna lose. You was gonna win, and it just constantly. They did something to me the first 2 years, and then that's when I realized I had to change the culture. And that's basically what I realized. Through coaching, you can change the culture of a whole school and community. It has a lasting effect on everybody surrounding the school or the program. It's just so polarizing. People in Louisiana and in this area of Baton Rouge can be motivated by sports. Mainly to me, it seems like it's basketball here. Now, North Louisiana, where you guys from and I'm from, it's all about football up there. And but here it's a little basketball motivated, but so far we got some good coaches around here now. And I think eventually I would be noticed as one. But, I just have a good vision for this school. And I just think that, you can reach those kids through this athletics. This also gave me a chance to reconnect to some kids that left my middle school. And I noticed that some of them lost their way and they did not finish high school, or they, some of them, sorry to say, no longer here with us. And some are either locked up as well. But, I used to see them, and I know when I had them, they was trouble. But, I want to continue to do that and on the high school level. And I think it's going to be, very helpful and resourceful for the community and the kids, having someone like me who understand these things. But, yeah, that's basically what I see.
Right. We're going to stay right here with you, Coach Ware. Another thing I like to learn is I like to learn the coaching trees that guys come from, which vines go to the root of the guy that gave you your first opportunity to coach, and where maybe you went from there. Like again, Coach Tannehill said that, playing for Charlie Brown, who in North Louisiana, again, like he said, is a legend. I played against Coach Charlie Brown, and it's a lot of guys that have come through the branches of Coach Brown. And I just like to know what guys got their start from, because I'm nosy. So let us have it, Coach.
Man, this is this thing, what happened with me was definitely of divinity, because when God knows something for you, He gonna make it for you. So I was blessed to have 3 legendary coaches in my life, and before I even started coaching, and when I started coaching, I used to always go speak with them. When I was doing my student teaching, I worked under Coach Bates, Coach Roman Bates, and also Coach Edgar Fullwood told me a little something about wrestling and showed me that there's a dynamic of coaching that other than the football and other things that's what we can do to get kids to, get out of situations or let them know there's a better way. Another one would be Coach Joel Hawkins, man, legendary coach
The
Joel
Hawks.
Hawkins.
The
He used to
Hawks.
be Lake Providence basketball coach, led us to our only state championship in basketball in '85. Man, when I got down here, Joel Hawkins helped me out so much on things that I need to do, just how to build a winning program, what you need to do, how you hold these kids accountable, and things like that. And last but definitely not least would be Coach Harvey Adger. Coach Harvey Adger, see, legendary coaches have always been in my career since the beginning. Coach Harvey Adger was one of my recommendations on to get the job right here at Terra. I mean, I've been around Coach Adger a long time. He's coached some of my guys out of basketball that went on to play D1 careers and have NBA careers as well. But those guys, man, when I tell you, they have really paved the way for me and made me understand the effect of having a lasting effect on these athletes that we have on being men and good citizens in our society, and not just great athletes. But those guys, man, those some awesome guys. And I've been blessed enough to have God put those guys in my life and just show me the way of how you build great programs and hold these young men accountable for what they do and what they need to become in life.
Coach Randall, I think that you and I maybe had this conversation privately, but I'm gonna ask you again anyway, because again I'm nosy. So the guys that you came under, either as a player or as getting started in your coaching career, what's the one thing that you still hold close to your heart that you've learned from any other coaches that you played for or again came up under, that you teach your kids and you hold fast to, that it's no what does it call that, allowing room for leniency in it, that helps make these kids better young men and better athletes? Coach.
Well, really,
Okay.
I mean, this dates back, I guess, to almost to my Little League days. I mean, I had some a lot of great values.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me, Coach? Yeah, I was trying to make sure you could hear me. Yeah, I was just basically saying, I was coming up from young. I had some great guys that was in my life. My dad died when I was 8, but he had an organization that he started that a lot of guys in the neighborhood played underneath, and I had a lot of great men that kind of sowed seeds into me, growing up, and going to Glen Oaks playing underneath Coach Gill, and then being able to go to college playing underneath Coach Saban, and I think I learned a lot of things there that I was able to take with me, and then I was able to see that most championship program does a lot of the same things, and it's not always on the field. It's some of the things off the field, being very detailed in what it is that you're trying to do and your goals that you reach, as well as being able to make great decisions on and off the field. And when you could do those things and you could do them well, man, those become habits, and that's what we try to form great habits when it's time to make great decisions and do things in life that those things help you not only on the field, but it help you off the field. And when they become habits, then you got some guys that when it's time to make some pressure decisions, that they're gonna make some good ones.
No doubt, Coach. No doubt, Coach Tannehill. The process of growing up under coaches as a young guy sometimes can be overwhelming for some guys, because again, you may go to a legendary St. Frederick or Neville, and so the two things that I know is, one, you better know how to coach if you go to St. Fred. You better know dang well better know how to coach if you go to Neville.
No doubt about it.
Some evident truths of what you learned, again, as a young guy, that you hold close to your heart now.
Well, coming through high school under Coach Brown, he was a tough individual. He was very passionate about winning. He loved Neville High School, and that's some things that I took from him that I try to use. Very strict. There was no wiggle room in what he wanted. It was done like he wanted it to be done. And then when I went to college, I learned how to work in college, and I say that when I went to play college baseball, I had a coach up there, Steve Goodhart, who's in the Hall of Fame of college baseball, and he is very detailed in what he did. Made you do it right 1,000 times. And Coach Brown was a lot like that, but as a younger kid, I didn't really understand. We just did whatever he said do, and we knew it would work. But when I got to college, I started understanding the details and the hard work part of it. And as I got into coaching, I brought that with me. And then as a very young coach, I became a head coach at 28 or 29, and head football coach. I was already head softball, head basketball, all that stuff. But when you take over a football program, we're talking about 4 times the number of people that you're usually dealing with. But
right.
And just jumping in with both feet and messing up and learning and taking every advice I could from old coaches and new coaches and ideas. And I've learned a lot just basically on my own. And then as I got a little older and coached with some experienced coaches like Coach McCarty, Coach Billy Bell over at St. Fred's, Coach Mike Duke down at LaSalle when I was head coach down there, those guys helped kind of mold the way. And when I got back up here to Neville with Coach McCarty, you learn how to handle, a big staff and all of those things. And those are what helped me grow into this position. And I'm learning something new every day about this job. I mean, when you're the head coach and athletic director here at Neville, there's a lot of things going on and a lot of kids. And it's Neville, so people expect it done the right way and do it to the best of your ability. And we're not going to do anything second chance. We're going to do it the best. And those are the things that, I had to learn from Coach McCarty. And Coach still comes around. And before Coach Brown died, he was around a lot and helped a lot of stuff doing that. So, it's been a blessing in my coaching career so far, and I'm just glad that I'm where I'm at right now.
No doubt. So, Coach, this is 2 different questions, but it's the same principle. Coach Randall, Coach Ware, you guys had to come into programs where they needed to be rebuilded, rebranded, needed players. Coach Randall, 5A Woodlawn, 4A Tara for you, Coach Ware. This question is for you guys. Knowing that you guys needed to add some pieces, what are some of the things that you do to get guys that probably should be eligible to play football or eligible to play football? What do you get those guys to come back? How do you get those guys to come back and be a part of athletics? And for Coach Tannehill, your question is when it gets to you, so you get a minute to think about your question. You can, again, you took over a program that had just came off, I think, a semifinal loss the year you took over. How is it managing great talented kids where you don't have to worry about if they're going to come to work every day? You just have to ensure that they are working really hard. What's that like for you at Neville? And Coach Randall, Coach Ware, you guys, who wants to go first?
I'm good. I go. Well, to tell the thing with when you come into a program like Tara High School and the fallout or aftermath of a coach being replaced, and you have a different coaching staff, and no one on the staff was kept over. So, and then the head coach, it's a very unique situation. It's not on campus, because of the freezes and iron and stuff like that. Normally would have let me go on campus, but this being that we are a shortage of teachers and how stuff going after COVID, post COVID, I couldn't leave. So basically, I'm in a salvage mode, and I'm trying to salvage anything to see would it fit into the type of dynamic program that we're gonna create at Terrell High School, because now the vision has to be put in about what kind of program I want. Yeah, we want to be like a Neville. I don't want us to be just okay a one hit wonder. I want it to be lasting and sustainable. And so what you have to do is you have to analyze what type of vision do the players have. If the players want to leave, I suggest that they leave. I mean, if you figure that all the labels that Terrell High School have and every other school around Terrell is better, so if you got say a school score, say our school scores a F, and Woolon is a C or B, and parents gonna tend to want their kids to go to a school like that. So the challenge is not just athletically; it's the image of the school that you have to be a part of as well. How are we going to change that image that we're not trying to make these kids excel academically, and not just that, oh, we just want a football program. No, you have to sell it all to them. And it's a very tough thing to do when all those schools are deemed better than Terrell High School. And it makes it a little easier for them to collect kids. Like we got a school in our district just got in high school, like McKinley, is like it's a choice school for kids who don't want to go to Terrell no more, because if Terrell is a F school and McKinley is a C school, they can go to McKinley, and that's your district route. So a lot of potential athletes that are 11th or 12th grade, they're pretty much going to go there. A lot of freshmen and all those guys they probably said it was coming with me because I brought a lot of middle school kids with me at first. And, once they get to listening to some of the social media stuff and some other things, they tend to go elsewhere. But other than that, though, it's going to be a grind. Like I told, I talked with administration, and I talked with some of the people that's interested in Terrell High School, that thing must be changed. That image of Terrell High School as an F school, failing school, is going to have to be eradicated, because it's been a 10-year thing. And hey, it's a challenge, but hey, I'm getting some pieces. Even though I'm losing some pieces, I'm still getting some pieces. So it's all good. You just gotta keep fighting, man. It's gonna be hard, but eventually we're gonna change this culture. We're gonna change this thing, and then it's gonna be people coming from other schools to us. And I just want to make sure that we are doing the right thing for these young people. That's basically what I want to do.
Right, Coach Randall.
Yeah. So we basically just talking about, me getting here in 2019 and Woodlawn being in the state it was in. It was actually in 4A prior to me getting here, but the year I came in 2019, that's when they were moving up to the 5A district and moving up, and now you playing those big time guys, those all of the Ascension School, Dutchtown, St. Amand, and we got Calic High that was in the district, and McKinley. So you moving up, and you didn't have the participant, kind of like Coach Ware just talked about. Here in East Baton Rouge Parish, it's kind of unique, man. You got a lot of high schools here that public and private, that's pulling that, a lot of the kids, when you start talking about, kids that's used to playing sports and stuff like that. So you got to be able to go into that was one thing I did. I wanted to come into school and be like, well, let's try to start getting some of the guys that's already here involved that haven't been coming out for whatever reason, just didn't feel like they wanted to be out, maybe not even asked to come out. Then you also had to put that tutoring piece. When I first came here, we had I worked out all summer, and then come up right before we scrimmage, our fall scrimmage against Scotlandville. My athletic director come and said, "Well, you got 13 guys that's ineligible." And I'm like, "What?" So obviously those guys, that they didn't put a lot of emphasis on the academic piece, which is always the main piece. When we were saying everybody that was going to have to happen here.
Right.
Man, we're going to have to start winning inside the school first. Just had to start winning inside these walls first. Getting the school spirit up and doing a lot of those things.
You muted, Coach. Were you finished? All right, Coach Tannehill.
Well, and you asked, how do we keep those kids motivated? Well, the first thing is it all starts in our weight room with Coach Eric Herndon. We get them as freshmen, and when they come in, we are working them down. We usually, a lot of times our freshman class is, between 40 and 60 kids as freshmen that we get in. And, if we keep, 35 or so when they're seniors, that's awesome. But when they get here, they're working hard. There's a standard that we have to live up to, and they hear that every single day. It's no doubt about it. We have some great coaches here. Coach Mike Collins, Coach Collins Ball for 30-something years, and Coach Stewart Washita, and he does a tremendous job with our defense. And then, we've got a lot of great position coaches that do a great job with our kids. Our freshman staff do a great job. But when they come to work, they're working. If they're not willing to put forth the effort to work, they usually don't hang around very often. It's just something that we instill in them, and instilling toughness, mental toughness, being physical at the point of attack, being fast all the time, all those things. And we have kids that come here and play football for 4 years, and then you have some that are late bloomers that show up when they're sophomores, that end up being pretty good players. We try to get every kid at Neville High School to, come out and play football, as long as they understand that there's a standard. You got to make your grades. If they don't make their grades, we have study hall once a week on Wednesday afternoons from 3 to 4. If they're not handling their business in the schoolhouse, they're going to be gotten their tails onto a little bit. But there's it's a standard that we set, and it's built around hard work. It's built around getting faster. And we also, the other thing is, you're going to be a good human being. You're going to be a good person. You're going to say, you're going to come in and speak to your teachers like they're adults, and you're going to handle adults like they're supposed to be handled. It's all going to be done correctly, or you're going to be in a little bind around here over here with me. And I don't usually have to get on to them a whole bunch. Very few. We have really, our kids, we have great kids here. And it doesn't matter if they come from the lowest income housing to the highest income housing. They are all great kids, and they do what they're supposed to do. And our entire school is like that. Every school has problems. But our school, Coach Rankins has been here since 1967. He's been here. He's 85 years old. He's been our dean of students since 1990. And Coach McCarty was our football coach. He's our principal, and they do a tremendous job up in the school building, not only educating kids, but disciplining them and keeping them in line. I mean, we have a tremendous school. Our school spirit is tremendous, and I know I said this all the way. We've been to 4 straight semifinals and gotten beat, and that ain't good enough around here. And you know that, and everybody else knows that. So, state semifinal is great and all, but if you don't get to that Superdome, our kids and for our north side of Monroe, it's not what we want to do. We want to be in that dome every year, and they get used to that. And it's my job to get us back there, so I'm gonna do everything I can to get us back there. And we've won a state championship in every decade since the 40s, and we have not won one since 2017 or 18. I think it's 17. So it's it's a work in progress, and we got a good young team coming back this year, so we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think the last time y'all won it was when Lawrence graduated, and he's graduated from college now.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it was 2017. And shout out to Mr. Rankins. I have a lot of family members that have passed through Neville High School. I have family members that work at Neville High School now. Shout out to my cousin Altricia McPhee. Love you, cuz. She works at Neville now, and so everybody loves Mr. Rankins, whether you didn't like him when you were there or not as an adult, and they realize all the things that he tried to do for them. I haven't talked to one person that was a Neville loyalist that didn't love Mr. Rankins. So, again, man, it's great when you have people inside the schools that are there to actually do what they're supposed to be doing, and that's enhancing kids' everyday life. We've gotten through the getting to know you part. It was a little bit longer today because, generally we may have two coaches on, but like I told you guys, I tried to do it this way. Now you guys, if you don't know another coach, now you get to meet him and know him, and hopefully by the end of the show, you guys want me to send contact info each way where you can possibly schedule a game that would help you guys. Now it's time to get to the meat and potatoes of the show. And so, and I'm sure Coach Randall is coming back. He's probably just trying to get in a better spot in the school.
Okay.
So we'll keep going until he comes back or not. Coaches, okay, see there? Just like that, he's back. Since it's springtime, and this is what really lets you guys know where you are, what you need to work on, what guys are going up to be leaders during this spring. What are some of the key focal points that you guys focus on to see where you guys are going to be standing when spring is over, and how much weight goes into whether you do an inter-squad scrimmage or you do a live scrimmage against one or more teams? Coach Ware, what's your thoughts on all that?
Basically, I'm trying to see what type of what's going to be the fallout for as those schools that are called school choice. And when you think of school choice, you think about schools like, if it's Scotlandville and it's McKinley, that's very lucrative for people to want to do. So my thing is trying to understand what their fallout may be, and the ones that have been participating. Because like when we first started conditioning, we had 6 kids participating in conditioning. By the time we finished and got ready for our spring practice, we had at least 25 kids that had came out and did some some type of conditioning. So what I'm saying is I got to make sure I reach out to those guys and make sure that we can keep them here at Terra High School going forward, and also that we can pick up some kids coming in on the fall with some transfers and things like that. So, but other than that, though, so I'm trying to make sure we keep what we got and gain some in the fall as well, when we see the transfers coming in the new freshman class coming in. And we also been looking at getting some kids, knowing what is our expectation for summer school participation. We're trying to curtail that, trying to make sure these guys, we've been monitoring their grades and academic progress to make sure they don't have to go to summer school, so we can get that work in. So basically, we're going to keep doing those things and try to maintain what we got. That's my strategy. So I got to hold on to what I got. And even though we got all these things that's going against the high school right now because of our academic standing, which should change. I think after May we should be going up. I tell them we got to get to that C level so we won't be a school choice and kids are just be able to leave because your school standing is bad. But we're gonna change this culture and we're gonna hold on to what we got and look forward to what's coming in to us in the fall. I mean, that's basically my focus, trying to make sure we maintain that because I think we have a good athletic budget right now to do things to maintain the program. So that's good because when I got there, it was in a plus, not in the red. So we good.
Coach Tannehill, what's your thoughts on spring and how do you go about managing what the outcome is?
Well, this year, this past year we graduated 34 seniors, and we lost some really good ones. We lost a great tailback, a great offensive line, and some really good defensive players. Had 7 or 8 signed. It's this year we only have 2 returning players on defense and 3 on offense. So it's a rebuilding year for us as far as who's going to play where. We have some great competition going on the offensive line. We got 4 or 5 kids. And of course, we've got the Hurd kid that is, being recruited by everybody. But the other 4 spots are all open, and we've got about 8 or 9, 10 kids that are competing for that job. You have a quarterback battle between Brooks Anslow and Jacob Robinson, 2 really good football players. The Robinson kids are really good athletes that can play some other places. But we're really just trying to find the pieces to the puzzle right now. That's our biggest part of spring. It's just finding who can and who can't play right now. We're trying to find 9 on both sides of the ball. So at the end of the spring we're gonna have a black and gold game scrimmage, and hopefully we'll have some answers to the questions before we get to going in August. Because this is one of the biggest springs. In 2009, we won the state championship, and we lost like 37 seniors. And in 2010, we started 1-5. Got to the quarterfinals of the playoffs, won district that year, but it took 4 or 5 weeks to get us right. And so I'm trying to stay away from that as much as possible when you lose such a big athletic class that started for 3 years. We're going to be young in a lot of places, but this 10 days of work we're getting in right now is very, very important for us.
Right. And you guys will be able to watch the Black and Gold spring game on the Neville Tiger Network. So
yes, sir.
Definitely looking forward to that. Coach Randall, same question. How do you manage spring, and what's your goal at the end of spring?
Well, pretty much the same thing everybody doing, man. You trying to see who you're gonna be for the next year. Every year, I know we always talk about it. Every year you're gonna have a new team. You're gonna have a new identity. So you're trying to find those guys. So you're trying to find those individuals as well as trying to set the identity for the going into the summer, and that should catapult you into next season. So that's what we're using the spring for. We actually do have a spring game. We'll be playing against Warren Easton here tomorrow. That should be a good contest for those guys. Are always good, always deep in the playoffs, and I think that's going to give us a real test of where we are. Kind of like Coach Tannehill just said. Hopefully, we don't take 3, 4, 5 games to kind of see who we're going to be moving into the new year. But I'm just looking forward to just being able to have a full year. I mean, the last 2 years with COVID and all those things that that took place after I took the job in 2019, we had a full year, but I haven't had one since then. My second year,
right.
4 games in 2020. Last year, we because of the Hurricane Ida and due to a team or 2 having COVID, we didn't get to play a full year last year. So it kind of took us about 4 games to get rolling, but we ended up winning district like Coach just talked about. So that was one of the major things that was a milestone, and said that it'll be hard for us to do, moving to that 5 when I got here. So being able to, build off that success coming into now the guys know they can win, which was a question mark when I got here. And now they know they can win. Now we're being able to, now we got the belief in them. Now we just working on a lot of techniques and building that depth that we're going to need to play in 5A.
Right. I remember also well, Coach Randall, when you got to Woodlawn, we were almost inseparable. I thought my son went to Woodlawn for a minute there. I was there so much. The one thing we talked about a lot about in your first year there at Woodlawn, and this is a everyone question, was the trenches, Coach Randall. Being able to block on the offensive line. You guys were not very good at it your first year there, and your play and record indicated as such. Have you been able to grow and develop your offensive line so fast and getting them to be better? Winning district is not an easy task, especially when you were, up until this year when the district changes. Like you said, District 5A was East Ascension, Dutchtown, St. Amant, Catholic, Baton Rouge, McKinley, and you guys. Like, that's not an easy district to be a part of. How'd you get the team to turn around so fast? And coaches, Tanner Hill, and what do you guys do to sustain your offensive line play in the trenches? Coach Randall.
Well, yeah, that's a big thing. I mean, coming into to 5A, which I had been in 5A once before at Scotlandville, but seeing it as a head coach and seeing some of the things that you're going to need to do to be successful, the trenches, and having not only being good in trenches, but having the depth to be able to play all 4 quarters in the trenches. When I went and saw Catholic High, my first year, I saw Catholic High play against Carr, and Carr won the game, but I was able to see how both teams were able to rotate linemen in pretty much all game. And I said, okay, I know that's one of the main things that we're going to definitely have to do. I mean, you can have as many skilled players as you want. You don't have the depth to be able to hold up for 4 quarters in the trenches, and those guys being able to rotate guys in, keeping guys fresh, throughout the game, then you wasn't going to be able to beat those good teams, those elite 5A teams. So that was some of the things that we kind of leaned heavy on. And like I say, we didn't have a lot of guys just showing up at school, but we had to find some of those guys inside the school. We had to find a lot of guys that was inside the school. We even found guys that, no knock on the last previous staff, but it was some guys that were thought of that couldn't play, but we had to get them to play. We not, growing them on trees. So we gotta be able to use the guys that we have here, and we was able to build that depth that we need. Even if a guy could give us 4 or 5 plays a game, that helped. Right. Might not been a stud, but he was able to give us some guys where you could start seeing in the 3rd, 4th quarter, we were able to, last longer and be able to play longer. And a lot of these games that we had to win, the big games, they were won in the 4th quarter. So we was able to have that depth that we needed. And I saw that early on, and that was one of the things that I put a lot of emphasis on in building that depth in the trench.
Right. Coach Tanner Hill.
Well, building depth at the offensive line right now is going to be tough. We got some young guys that are coming on strong. Not sure if they're going to be ready yet or not.
We're going to call a bunch of students at a time.
The defensive line.
Wait 1 second. Coach Tanner Hill, wait 1 second. 3 seconds, 5 seconds. The announcement over?
Yeah, it might be coming back on.
Yeah, we were having trouble, so no need for him to try to fight the PA system.
Right. Well, I thought it was me echoing at first, but just going through, just creating, that depth on the offensive line, and those guys that end up starting, some will slide over to defense and help give us some depth at the defensive line there. But we were thin last year. And we'll be thin again this year. Hopefully we can find some depth. Our offensive line is Lance Hurd. He'll play some defense. Will Campbell's little brother, Thomas Campbell, he may play a little defense. And, then we've got a couple, Matthew Files White's a really good defensive player, and D'Angelo Woods, Jaden Webb all be good hands there on the defensive line. But they're all returning with some, with some playing time. But we still got a couple spots there that we're going to have to fill with some sophomores and juniors that really haven't played very much in the last couple of years. So that's going to be really big for us here in the spring training.
No doubt. Coach Ware, being that this is your first year and you're just learning about your offensive line, what are some of the things that you've noticed right off that you need to change the way blocking is done at Terra?
See, one thing, when I look at Terra High School and notice all my teams that I ever coached, we was always known for our physicality. I always built my teams off of a strong and powerful offensive line. But once I got to Terra High School, I realized that those type of guys, I mean, they walk around campus, but it's an element that they convinced that this is the way they need to live. You know, they have the size, they have a lot of things on their campus. Most of it's not ineligible, and they have no interest of participating in sports. Like right now, I've been participating in the spring with mostly 8th graders. Like half of the team that's out there, our 28 guys are on my 8th grade football team that just came from the championship game in middle school. And that's been most of my team. And the expectation is because those guys really understand the physicality that I demand on practice on a daily basis. You know, being a middle school coach, you have to coach every position on the field. You don't have several coaches to like an offensive line coach. I'm the offensive line coach. I'm the defensive line coach. I'm the wide receiver coach. I'm the quarterback coach. In high school, I'm glad that I have other people out there to assist me, and I don't have to like monitor all the situation. But being that you have some 8th graders trying to go against varsity players, they have a mental block not understanding. Like one of them he missed practice 2 days because he was in fear of going against the varsity players. But to show the level that they're on, that guy got in the game and he just pulverized the sophomore. And I told him, I said, it's a thing in you that you've been taught that they haven't been taught. And you have to understand that culture is going to be rough to change at first. But once we get it going with that offensive line and we develop some depth, like most of these guys are saying, and they have it at Neville, they have it at Woodlawn, but at Terra High School, it has never been established. So what I've come from the spring is these young guys that I got with me, plus a group of sophomores and some freshmen, is going to help change that going into the fall. And these guys have been coming to conditioning. They understand that now. They're going to come to summer conditioning, and we play a spring game against Marcus' brother, Eric, his big brother. We played at Friday at Terra High School. Me and Eric, like I say, we played at Southern together for a brief stint. I'm a little bit older than him, though. But I am hopeful that these 8th graders and my mix of sophomores and freshmen and a couple seniors decided to hang around because, you know, they have been, I got to say, they've been poisoned by a culture that was allowed to go on for so many years, and I just had never tolerated it. So, like I said, I'm in a salvage mode. I'm trying to pull what I got, and I want to hold it. And then this fall, I'm gonna look for some more young cats to come in there, and we're gonna get this thing going. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this to see how they respond to those other varsity players in different uniforms on Friday. I told them it's gonna be a different ball game. It ain't gonna be the ones you practice against. These guys gonna come a little bit harder because they want it to, just like you want. They want it. But yeah, that's basically what I see.
Right. I'm thinking about the offense in general. The guy who takes the snaps for every football club in America, and this is when you try to not put every play in the playbook into his memory bank, but this is where you get the basis of your offense and the formations that you want to run to get him again to get a little basic knowledge to set the standard for what you guys do during the season. How much effort do you guys put into IQ of your quarterback on a daily basis during the spring? And again, with the emphasis on him making sure that He knows the formation, whether it's be a spread, which is down south offense, or Northern Louisiana, which basically runs the power game, power I, wing T, things like that. How much coaches, do y'all put into the IQ of your quarterback during the spring? Coach Tannehill.
Well, in the springtime, we're going to try to see what his limit is. How much can he learn? How much can he absorb? How fast can he absorb it all? We run the spread, but he's got to be able to read defenses, call blocking schemes, all of that stuff. So we'll know at the end of spring how far we are along and how much more we got to get done. Luckily, both our quarterbacks were here last year. Brooks played a lot last year because of some injuries, and so he's got a little more grasp of what we're trying to do. But it's still, how big is their plate? How much can they hold on their plate? And you learn a lot during springtime and how fast they can help teach the receivers, how they get along with the receivers, all that kind of stuff. Comes into play, and where you have to start when you get to August, and how much more work you have to put in the summertime to get things right and ready to go when August gets here. And that's what we use this spring for. But a heavy IQ for us is they've got to know the offense about like I do. That's what I'm saying. If you can think like me, we're going to be good to go.
Right. Hey, Coach Randall, you don't have a quarterback issue. You have Ricky Collins. Got kid that you had, since 8th grade. What has it been like seeing the maturation of Ricky and seeing his maturity growth and all the other things that have made him one of the most sought after quarterbacks in the state of Louisiana? And we talk about the Manning kid from Newman, or the kid from LCA that just I think he signed with LSU, and a few other guys across the state. But Ricky can spin the ball with the best of them. And with my own old aging eyes, I've seen him make throws that are impossible for most kids. How much of you being a quarterback has helped with his IQ and growth and all those other things that make quarterbacks great?
Well, like you said, I didn't have him since 8th grade. So I mean, when you have a kid that long and he came in, already having some tools with him, then you're able to just take a kid and be able to just flourish with him. And as much as he can handle, we've been able to put on. He's been starting since 9th grade here in 5A. So he done saw a lot of ball. He done saw the ups, he done saw the downs. He's been able to be a coach through all those different things, and being able to have a guy like that is always pleasant. But I've had a lot of good guys that I've been able to coach over the years. But being able to put those things in him, and like you said, playing the position, knowing the things he's going to need to know, and not being able to, and not only just coaching him to what should happen, being able to tell him how some of those things are going to feel. Man, it's going to look like this, but I'm telling you, just trust me, it's going to be this, because I done been there before. It might look like that pressure on you right now. I'm telling you, if you take one step to the right and use your pocket presence drills, I'm telling you, it's going to give you the space that you need to make those throws and be able to do it. And if you've seen his film, I mean, a lot of times he's throwing touchdowns, he's getting hit, he's able to stand in the pocket, and those are some of the intangibles that you would want to see in a quarterback that that obviously got him at the level that he's at right now. And he's also got the statue standing at 6'3", so obviously that's God given. Already. So so those are some of the things, and we can always talk quarterback play, and it's natural, because like you're saying, being back playing it, some of the things he's seeing, or he may be seeing, or he may be looking too much at, not now, but early in the game. Hey man, simplify it. Look, after we get the pre-snap read, let's cut off half the field, man. Let's not look at everything. A lot of times people people you can't see the forest for all the trees. And that's what I always say, man. You're looking at all the trees, but hey, look, if you know what you're looking at and you know what you're looking for, and you know your blocking protection, know where you're hot at, know where you're protected, know where you're not. That obviously slows the game down plenty for you, and defenses can't really never catch you off guard. So, you know, knowing that going in with that kind of confidence and, like I say, going into his senior year, being able to compete with the best of the best, obviously, you know, sets him way up there.
Right. Coach Ware, again, you have a different issue from Coach Tannehill and Coach Randall, by both of their own words. Coach Tannehill has 2 QBs that are coming back. Coach Randall has Hollins,
one of the best.
Player of the Year candidate already, and the school year hasn't started yet. Your issue is a little different.
It is.
What have you learned about what have you learned about your quarterback in these last few days of spring camp?
He's trying. I'll just put it like that. It's different when you don't have a quarterback on campus. It's the first time I've ever been in a situation where a quarterback not on campus. Okay, so it was great when I had Brandon Landers. He was here. He was offensive coordinator. He's working with our QB. Then he got the head coaching job at Carroll High School, and he had to leave from Terra. You know, I thought I had a good hire right there. It's a good steal for me. And the quarterback, you know, just they say some pretty good things about just using the spring as a diagnostic for the knowledge he already had and how he retains the information we're giving him. And also, is he mentally tough? Because I tell a quarterback every time, it's always 2 people they're going to blame if a team's struggling or losing. It's the head coach and the quarterback. I don't care what the team is doing. So you're going to have to be able to perform. And plays happen throughout the game that everybody's going to criticize you or criticize the coach throughout the game, and you have to be able to still maintain that you're the guy, and let them know, reassure them that if something was going to happen, drastic change, we will talk about it. I wouldn't just say, okay, you out. You know, we got to talk about it. If I say that's the quarterback, I learned from many years of being coaching, I always establish the fact that I'm going to have a quarterback. Now, other people can go with 2 quarterbacks. Me, I'm gonna make that the guy. But it would be nice, and if I had a power running game like Neville, and I could just hand the ball off, and hey, you throw it out there in the flat every once in a while till we slip a fullback out in the flat. That's basically what we'll do. But going forward over the summer, I expect that he's gonna develop into a nice quarterback. I mean, he wants it, but I really want some other guys, some of these upperclassmen, to get out their wide receiver horse and come on over here and realize you can play some quarterback. You know, when I look at them, I already said, son, you want to play wide receiver, but you might be playing quarterback. And you have to let them know that is going forward. Don't be surprised. But, you know, I really like these guys, man, the ones that's hanging around, and they helping change this thing, man. And we're going to have a spring game. I can't believe it, but we will have one on Friday. And I'm a little bit excited. You know, it's a high school thing. The last time I was in a spring game, I was a defensive coordinator at Bel Air High School. I did that for 1 year. So I'm definitely excited about the spring game. And but yeah, that's basically it. They said that with that depth, and make sure you can trust what's on his plate. And I think Coach Tannehill said that. And can he, retain that information that you're giving him, and is he accepting it, and is he gaining? And this guy, trust me, we're gonna spoon feed him. Hey, when to take a step back, to take 1 step, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Throw to the left, throw right. That's what it is. That's basically what we are taking the approach right there. But he's young, but we're gonna get better.
I think it's time for us to name some names. Guys that on the offensive side of the ball that in their last year's season, guys that this is not a Coach Ware question because you wouldn't know that answer. But for Coach Tannehill and Coach Randall, Man, you have your work cut out for you, Coach Tannehill, losing 30 plus seniors. So it's a lot of room for improvement, but it's also a lot of room for new guys to say, Coach, you can depend on me. I want to be the guy that when you look on your right shoulder, over your left shoulder, you're looking for me. Give me some names, Coach Tannehill. Give me some names, Coach Randall. And when we come back from them, Coach Ware, I'm gonna have something for you.
Okay.
Go ahead, Coach Randall.
Yeah, when you start talking about guys, man, it's even though we graduated about 20-something guys, we did have a lot of guys play. Like I said, last year we had but we're always trying to play as many guys as we can play, to keep our depth where we need to. And when we come to the next year, we'll be not starting with guys that, have no experience, we're going in. So we played some guys. I'll just start from the offensive line. We got we got Roy Brackens coming back. He's getting recruited. We got 3 or 4 offers right now. We moving him to center, but he can play all 5 of his positions. Also, Cody Walker, he'll be another returning starter at guard for us, a junior. Moving out to the skill guys, we got Clayton Adams that'll be back, 2-time all-district guy. Our running back that split time last year, Javion Haynes, he'll be kind of taking over those duties. He's already committed to ULL. We've got some other wide receiver guys, Tremont Douglas, that'll be coming back. Maybe we got some young guys that's very talented that you guys will see. Maybe we got a guy, Justice Turner, that'll be a junior, that'll be coming on strong for us at the wide receiver position. And then on defense, we got a plethora of guys. Our D-line pretty much been playing since sophomore. A lot of those guys will be seniors. Devin Jones, Mark Fielder, that's already got 3 or 4 offers already. Then we got, Jordan Matthews at the corner, which is being recruited by pretty much everybody in the nation right now. And we got a safety, Desiree Delmore, Dwan Harris. Man, we got guys, that's ready to step up and fill a lot of shoes that's out there.
No doubt. Coach Tannehill.
Well, I'll start on the defensive side of the ball. We've got a defensive end, Matthew Fobbs, who's a senior, being recruited quite a bit. Baylor, Oklahoma State. He, they say he's a little bit short, but we'll see by the end of the year. D'Angelo Woods is a defensive tackle, a really good football player. He's being recruited by a lot of small schools because they say he's short too. So we'll see. Both really good football players, played a lot for us last year. At linebacker, we lost both linebackers. They graduated. Rudy Dozier had a lot of playing time last year. He'll be a senior. In the secondary, we lost everybody. Henry Cagle had a lot of playing time last year at free safety, but he'll be a senior in the back end back there. Offensively, we've got 2 seniors right now, going at it at quarterback. Brooks Anzalone, who played a lot last year, and Jacob Robinson, who is, if he's not playing quarterback, which I think we'll use him a lot at quarterback. Tight end wise, he'll play some tight end, also from slot. Senior running back will be Frank Mansfield, and then we've got a sophomore, Jaden Nichols, who played a lot last year in the semifinal game against Warren Easton. In the offensive line, we got Zalance Hurd, who, rivals All-American kid, being recruited by everybody. And then the only other senior on the offensive line is Jaden Owens, who's been biding his time, works real hard, but he's going to have a shot at playing right tackle. And then all the other guys are all underclassmen on the offensive line. And then wide receiver Jaden Gibson, I think he's got an offer from Jackson State and Grambling. A 6'4", tall, lean track kid that really, he's done a good job of catching the football this spring for us already. And then a returning senior tight end is Michael Plummer, played junior. He had an injury last year, but had a really good year. And then Mason Shelby's another senior tight end that has a chance to step up and play some for us. But, it's a small senior class compared to the last couple of years. And then the junior class is about the same size, about 18 of them, I guess. And then the sophomore class is a really big class. We had 64 of them, I think. When they came in as freshmen, of course, we've lost a few. We're probably down to about 53 or so. Big sophomore class next year, and they're gonna have to play some and get ready as young players. Probably some of them not ready yet, but they're gonna have to play a little bit. So.
Right. Coach Ware, again,
Yes.
your situation is definitely one that's different from the other two coaches on the panel today. What have you learned? What have you learned about some of your new guys? And again, the toughness that you need and that's desired to go from being a middle school football player to having to go straight to varsity can sometimes be really shell shocking to a young kid. What are you doing to help motivate these kids to be ready to come to work every day and fight to get better?
Just basically encouraging them daily about their trials and tribulations that they're going through, as far as the successes and failures that they have. The biggest thing was trying to encourage them that they can play with these varsity guys. And, because some of them start coming to work out as soon as we start doing conditioning. But I do have a couple guys I think will make some noise this year based on their performance. Now, the sophomore class, I'm very impressed with this sophomore class that we have that's on the team right now. Just would like to say, I think a guy named Jordan Bowie, he's our running back. He's a sophomore. He'll be a junior. We're going to call him a junior. He'll be a junior going into the fall. We have another one, Ernest Rivers. He'll be a senior. I think that guy is going to be good. He's a wide receiver. But other than that, I just have to stay with those young cats and tell them that we got to keep working, we got to keep chopping wood, and eventually some things going to crack through from it. Then we'll have the All-Americans. We'll have some people getting letters, and we'll be moving forward. And these guys, you just got to keep encouraging them and letting them know that, hey, we are making progress no matter what you say. Based on what I've taken in from some of the other people who've been there, say they never had conditioning at the school. I was just kind of amazed about that. They didn't do conditioning, and it was never established. And to me, that's one of the biggest things you got to do. You got to get in that weight room. You got to get in shape in the off season to get ready for the fall. But yeah, man, I'm on it, and I think those young cats, they're gonna answer the call. And I know it's hard, and because you going from being a middle school player and going to high school, and the first day we hit, they missed like 2 days after that. So I say, but but the good thing is they came back, and they some of us are laying the wood on those upper class. So I think we're gonna be all right eventually.
Right. Fellas, let's change gears again. I think this may be the last little portion of what we're doing, but it's a doozy. It's one where situations are tough. So let's talk a little bit about the LHSAA and its approval during this last executive session of the NIL and the changes that happened with your guys relatively changing of your district. If it changed, I know Woodlawn will be playing in a different district this year. And so I believe Neville had some changes in their district. What about you, Coach Ware? What's your thought on the approval for NIL right now?
I think it shows how everything is trickling down right now, and the game is changing, becoming more advanced. And college more like NFL, and high school tending to be like college, and sometimes some of the same things are trickling down. Yeah, our district did change, and I think it's going to help on that end because you pick up teams like West Feliciana, who has a great following, a good program. You have Bruley High School, same thing. The following, and district just got probably became one of the toughest districts in the area by getting those schools put in the district. But yeah, I do think it is a kind of I feel like kind of like it gives those schools that always had the advantage a little bit more advantage because people love to know that they might have a tendency to get some financial gain from their child participating in athletics. And but I think it does make it accessible for everybody that's involved. But you got to understand if it's a Catholic high or Episcopal or something like that, it's going to be more so because most of the people that's in those schools, their parents or relatives or somebody got businesses and they probably good big sponsors in those programs like that. But yeah, basically, I think those are some things that it opens it up, but it also can be a killer. And I think Nick Saban recently spoke out against those things. And but yeah, I think it has some good and it has some bad with everything. A lot of good intention was made, but they came out bad. But it's just like the law, no child left behind. It had good intentions, but there's plenty of bad with it. But yeah, I think that's my opinion on it.
Coach Tannehill, your thoughts on the LHSAA's approval of NIL payments for high school students, and how much did your district change?
Our district changed quite a bit. We moved back down to the Alexandria district with Tioga, Peabody, Franklin Parish, Grant. We were in that 7-8 years ago. And then we moved back up north, actually to the Shreveport district for 3 or 4 years. And then now we're back down to Shreveport again because there's so many 4A teams in Shreveport. I think they have 10 in their district. So I don't know how they're going to do that over there. But anyway, we're back down there in Alexandria. But as far as this NIL, the one thing is I think the principals still have to vote this in too. And I think there's a lot of questions that have to be answered. There are things like, how's a 16-year-old that's not able to go to work somewhere, how he can't get a paycheck from somewhere because
McDonald's.
Those are the things that, I'm trying to figure out what are those, those types of questions. And, the other thing, I think we're getting into a world that is really out there a whole lot. I mean, I just don't think a high school kid, is ready for any kind of fame and fortune that, 15, 16-year-old, I don't think anybody at 18-year-olds ready for it. They may want the money, but they're not ready for it.
Right.
And I just think it just creates a lot more problems for administrators and head coaches, that really, we already have enough problems we deal with as administrators. So I just think that adds to the level of problem. But, on the other hand, it helps some people. There's a story there somewhere where it's going to help somebody tremendously. And, good for those people. But, as we get through this, as we work through this process over the next year, because I think it's next year before any of this will take place, I think the rules have to be solid, have to enforce those rules, and, just make it clear as day as what the rules are and what you can and cannot do on that before they vote this stuff all the way in through the principal.
Right. Coach Randall, same question.
But yeah, I just kind of piggyback off those guys. I mean, anytime you have some change, you're always going to have some good and bad that go along with it. You just got to kind of try to find the silver lining, try to kind of keep it, under wraps. But the thing is, nobody kind of knows, how it's going to go, how it's going to affect some people. Me just looking at it, when you start taking money, man, you got to have some kind of 1099 or something. You're going to have to pay some taxes on money. You're going to have to pay some taxes. Do you know about taxes? I'm like, do a kid know how taxes even work like that? And when you start talking about, I mean, you know, the NIL stand for name, image, and likeness. So, I mean, a lot of guys, you know, maybe getting in these contracts now, you look up 8, 9 years down the road, you don't even own your name no more, you know? So you got to make sure you got the right representation when you start dealing with all those things, because I know that that's going to be some of the backlash. And then you opening the gate up all these guys. It's kind of like the when training became big. Now, anybody that can get cones, they can, you know, but they get cones, they're a trainer now. So now anybody that think they know about marketing are going to be trying to market these guys and putting them in on certain deals. And if you don't have all of the education behind those things, I just see it just until it's a fine line in the do's and don'ts, and you put some regulation in, I think it's going to be kind of a mess. But like Coach Tanner said, you're going to find somebody that's going to have a good story, and then everybody going to try to lean on that one story, but it's going to be a whole bunch of other ones. And then you got to worry about your locker room. How can your locker room stay intact when you got some guys getting paid, some guys not? I mean, how you keep that, going? But I know some guys like, Saban and all those guys kind of got that thing down to a science where they can kind of keep their locker rooms intact, and everybody making it kind of equitable across the board for everybody and an understanding really for everybody that kind of know exactly what it is, so you can kind of keep a lot of the noise, the outside distractions down.
Right. Man, hey, great answers, coaches. Great answers from everyone. I'm sitting here. I'm really, tears are coming out my eyes laughing at Coach Randall's answer. That was really funny, man, because again, everything you just said was right on point. You cannot get money from an instance like this and not have a 1099 on it and pay those taxes. And if you don't have responsible parents, somewhere up or down the line, it could be some real consequences behind those actions. And so are we saying that we want a 16-year-old, 15-year-old to be responsible for paying taxes? Is that what the world is coming to?
Yep.
They're not responsible enough to buy cigarettes. They're not responsible enough to drink. They're not responsible enough to go to war, but they can pay taxes. Man, I think maybe you opened up a can of worms in that, Coach Randall. Great point, man. Great point. Man, let's do one more question, man, just because. Y'all got time for one more? I know we went over 22 minutes, but you guys have been great, and so let's just do one more group generalized question, and I want to thank Coach Randall for this question. So I know for basketball, you might hear a coach yell from the sideline, "Carolina!" That's gonna mean something with a transition offense or defense, or you may hear Villanova, that's offense. There's some school name called that specifies a play that an offense makes at the college level or a defense makes at the college level. Without y'all giving up y'all code words, don't give up y'all code words. We straight on that. But what is it like for football if you're running some plays that Alabama runs? If you love what Coach Ed Orgeron and his staff did the year they went, I think it was 13-14-0 when they 15-0 when they won the national championship, or if you were a Chip Kelly fan when they had the run and gun football offense from 15, 16 maybe. What are some of the coaches that you guys, and I don't be mad at me, I didn't make this up. Messenger. The rule is if you aren't stealing, if you aren't cheating, you really don't want to win. What are some of the things that you guys have taken from college football teams or NFL football teams? And just for kicks, since they're playing right now, I'm going to throw the USFL in there. Coach Ware, what are some of those things for you?
Oh, for as like, I think the one that got me was I think it was Nick Saban was coaching at LSU, or it may have been what's the guy named the defensive coordinator. I can't think of his name, but they had a few terms that we would use for as a defense, and they knew automatically what to do. And of course, when I was growing up, a guy for Ole Miss, I think his name was Jolie Dunn, I think, like that, had a few calls that he would use for certain calls, and again to let the defense know what it is they was doing, or what adjustment made just by simple name. And those are some of the guys that I could remember specifically that I always wanted to have that type of specific call or something like that to make the team respond. And whether it's a positive or negative, sometimes you get burned on it, sometimes it works out. Some of the same things I done when I was a defensive coordinator at Bel Air High School. And it just made the defense a little bit simpler, made the guys play downhill. And I think it's a very effective. I always like to coach like that, something like a Marine thing, which I'm not a Marine, but simplify stuff, and you just want them moving forward and not thinking because they drag their feet too much. If I'm answering what you wanted to know, that's basically what you want to influences on calls like that. But you said don't give up the call, right? We have several calls,
but
on both sides of the ball.
So this is what I want, guys. So we'll be clear on this. So. Again, I came up under the Wing T Power I football family with Mike Valerie. Say it with me, Coach Tannehill. Go Big Red. and so it was a lot. Like you had to be able to play. You had to be willing to hit. We had guys like Shad Green, Herman Petit, Glenn Ellis, Conner Ray Wilson, Billy Jones. We had some dudes, man. Derek Williams, Mac Jackson, Eric McElroy. Remember any of those guys, Coach?
I know all of them.
Yeah. We had some dudes. Shout out to Close Glenn Ellis over there at OCS. Yeah.
He's at St. Fred.
St. Fred, yeah. Shout out to my guy G-Man. So this is what I want. So I'll give you your call for the play. So my favorite offensive play back then was Power I 97-98 toss. I love running the ball wide. I ain't like going in that middle, man. That shit was tough. So, give me something like that.
Every game, we know Lake Providence gonna run 33 round every game. It's gonna happen. This will be the first play test.
Coach Webb, we ain't talking about when you was in
right now
in 1985.
Oh, mine's right now.
We talking about today. Say it with me, Coach Webb.
Oh, it's gonna be 26 power all day. They can know it's coming. I don't care. They can know it's coming. Okay. We coming with it.
And
we gonna call. I'm gonna call it, and they know it's coming. I'm telling you, we're gonna call it, and I'm gonna say
Coach
I might
Tannehill,
call it across the line. We run 26.
don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that one.
No,
Know your play. They're gonna see that line up, and they're gonna see that back cut cross 26.
They can cut. I'll give it to them. They gonna have to stop it.
Come on, give me a favorite play you stole,
It's
Coach
coming.
Tannehill.
Favorite play I stole is a pass play from when the coach at Ole Miss, what's his name? Gosh. Anyway, he was offensive coordinator at Alabama with Nick Saban, and
Marcavian.
the head coach at Ole Miss, football coach. Golly, what's his name?
Kiffin.
Son, is it son? No, not son.
He ran a short yardage play where he brings the guy in speed sweep motion and runs him right out in the flats, but he don't cross the line of scrimmage, and he rolls right and flicks it to him, and he picks everybody. The two receivers on that side pick everybody, and we named it, kind of an Alabama name, kind of like Tide or something like that, but we still run that quite a bit. It's a good play on short yardage.
Okay. Hey, y'all didn't hear that name. Come on, Coach Randall, what you got for me, bro? I know you got a great Nick Saban play. I know you got one.
But yeah, man, we got a couple plays that we name after different people. Once we name, man, we got volunteer, man. We got a play we call Tide as well that we got from Bama. I think that I don't think it's the same play Coach talking about though. Where we got it, where we kind of run a smash concept with the two receivers. It's a goal line play. It's about 5 and in, about 10 and in maybe. And where the back kind of comes out the backfield, he runs like a mini corner after you done pull the safeties out of there, and it pretty much is wide open almost every time. But the guys don't really, after the safety in the corner, then took them 1 and 2, and in the back of the backfield runs that corner. And we got that from Alabama. And man, we got a play we got from Tennessee we call volunteer that we run. Like you said earlier, man, if you're not stealing plays, you're not trying. I mean, it's every week. I think like our offensive coordinator come with a play, and if he got it from that team, he probably gonna call it that.
Yeah.
And we got other sets when we call NASCAR. We want to go fast, so that's a style that we do as well.
Oh wow.
Yep.
That's pretty cool, man. I'm a big NASCAR myself. I was a Dale Earnhardt guy. I don't think anyone was better on the NASCAR circuit in his time than Dale Earnhardt. So, hey, I'm with the speed, baby. I'm with the speed, man. Hey, you guys, it's
One
been
other one
great
was.
learning about. Go ahead, Coach Ware.
I have to disagree with. I think David Allison.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go with your choice.
I say David Allison.
Go with your choice. I'm gonna let you go with your choice because I believe in pro-choice. But I guarantee you, nobody was better than Senior.
Him and Dale, they used to go
better
ahead.
than Senior.
They used to go ahead.
And so, hey, everybody know when you mention Dale Earnhardt, they said now you're playing. That's where they got their saying from. Now you're playing with power. That's what Dale Earnhardt was all about, speed and power. So. Again, I'm a big NASCAR fan, man. It's been really great learning about you guys, man. I'm sorry to keep you over 33 minutes. Y'all know we try to keep it to an hour. I first time doing 3 coaches on at one time. It may be a little overwhelming for me, so I may go back to the 2 coaches at a time format. But it's been really great. Having you guys on, and again, learning about you, Coach Tannehill, learning about you, Coach Ware, has been really great. Coach Tannehill, like I said, I want to have a long conversation with you off the air. We're the same age.
Yep.
I'm a lion though. Got a jumbo, king of football, best best high school football program ever in the history of life in any school, any state, anything is Ouachita Parish High School. I said it because that's the truth. Don't believe that, y'all. Coach Tannehill, we started with you in the bio, so let's start with you in the final thoughts. Final thoughts, man. Give me something great.
Well, I'm just really looking forward to this spring spring game and see where we are in about 8 or 9 days. And I'm just really looking forward to this summer. This young team is so exciting. Because we don't have any idea who's going to play where, and that's one of the most exciting things about coaching. And last thing, I just want to thank you for having me on. Really enjoyed this, and next time you do it, anytime you need us on here, you give me a call. I appreciate it.
Boom! See right there? That's what I love to hear. You'll be back next week, Coach Tannehill. Bam! I want, you know what? You know how I want to get on here? I want to get you on here. I want to get Fred's coach on, and I want to get Sterlington's coach on, all at the same time. I think you guys have done a really great job at what you guys do. So it means a lot to me that you say, I love this, and I want to come back on. Mr. Grissom Pickham, me and you are going to have a talk, young fella. Coach Ware, final thoughts. Give me something good.
Man, it's been an awesome experience. So this whole experience has been so surreal to me because I feel like I waited my whole career to get a chance to be a high school head coach. I honor this chance to be on this platform because it's something I always cherish. It's the coaching ranks, and I'm just glad that I'm getting a chance to represent Terra High School. I'm glad Mr. John Heyman decided to hire me as the head football coach at Terra High School, and everybody that supported me on this endeavor. I've had a lot of support from people in the community, people in the educational ranks and coaching ranks who have all, supported me so far in this endeavor. And I greatly appreciate you for having me on today. It's a great show. I hope I get a chance to see it and get some of the people some information about Terra High School to make them interested in it. But I thank you. I hope I'll be back. Hope I'll be back one day. Yes.
I'm sorry. I generally send you guys the link. Y'all have to forgive me, charge it to my head and not my heart. I generally send a link out during the show so you guys can post it while it's live. Y'all forgive me. So I'm doing that. Okay. I'm doing that right now. Man, your athletic director, Coach Marcus Mitchell, really, really great guy. Guy that I love, like the little brother I treat him as. I be little boy in him, Coach. Don't let him see this part of the video. You know how when you see your nephew walk up to you and say, "What up, little boy? What up, little boy? What's happening?" I be little boy.
Yeah, you gotta do it.
I hate to interrupt y'all, but my battery's on 1%. So thank you for having me. Y'all have a good one, okay?
I'll call you.
All right.
Coach Randall.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Appreciate you, man, for having me in. Like you said, man, I've been with you since I got here, baby. 2019. Man, thank you for having me through. I know you done went big time on me. I'm just glad you still know me, man. I'm glad you still know me.
Oh, man. My heart is really close.
I was just blessed to get the message from you, man. Glad to have you on. I'm blessed, man. Appreciate
it.
You ain't
funny.
Big time, man. You ain't got too big.
Hey, you playing, but I think I'm about to get on the road first thing in the morning. And if I can, I'd like to come through. I need to get a little broadcast work.
Man, come through. And 2019, you was here. I ain't seen you since.
Yeah, you threw me away. You threw me away.
Now you all over the state. You all
Hey,
over the
you
state
want?
now.
Hey,
You
hey,
all over.
hey, you want to have this conversation live?
Nah, we can have it. We can have
Yeah. Hey, I love you guys, man. Thanks to Coach Jeff Tannehill, Neville High School Tigers football. Thanks to Coach Reginald Ware, Trojans High School football, and my guy that I remember the day I walked up to Woodlawn High School to meet Coach Randall. I was so nervous because he's a legend in the Baton Rouge area. He is a legend. Everywhere he goes, he's beloved. And so I was really nervous about meeting you, Coach Randall, and we hit it off great. We've been really close ever since. And sometimes just because siblings don't talk as much or friends don't talk as much every day doesn't mean that the love still isn't greatly embedded there. I love you, bro. I'm really proud of all that you've done over the last 3 years. I'm looking for 4,000 yards from Ricky Collins this year. Tremont Douglas, be ready to catch a lot of balls, son. I know it's gonna happen. And so thank you guys for being on the show today. No other guests showed up, so that's probably why we kept going. Um, Tomorrow we were supposed to do the highlight show for student athletes, but I guess nobody wanted their film shown. Not on me. It's not a off the bench sports prep news thing. It's a student athlete thing. It's a coach's thing. So hey, tomorrow I'm gonna be traveling back to Louisiana, Woodlawn High School. I'll be there.
Good deal. Well, man, we'll be starting up 1 Eastern, 5:30 tomorrow. Or you can come during the day, cuz.
It's gonna take me a little while to get home, man. Stop playing. But I love you guys. Thanks. Remember, get off the bench, get into the game.
All right.
All right. Thank you. All right. Peace.